Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel, and I just want to thank everybody for the comments on the last video. Please do carry on commenting, give me your ideas, your thoughts on what cars to keep and what cars to sell and everything else. So plan today is I'm going to do a little bit of work on Brad, my mk2 Cavalier Convertible. Now, I did mention in my last video that I've got one of my mates and his brother coming to have a look at buying it potentially on Thursday. They'll not be able to take it away Thursday because they'll have to organise transport because they live miles and miles, hundreds of miles down south from where I live. So they'll have to come back if he does decide to buy it with transport and whatever. But one thing I do want to do today is, you may remember in a previous video I'd repaired the fuel filler pipe, the pipe that runs from, you know, where you physically put fuel in down into the tank. So I'm going to reattach that. I'm then going to put some fuel in it, and I'm going to see if I can get it to start, because obviously if it is a starting running car when they come to see it on Thursday, it's going to be better. If I can't get it started myself today, then hopefully when my mate comes on Thursday he can help and we'll have a little tinker and see if we can get it started. So I will actually mention to him beforehand, if I don't get it started today, I will mention to him, bring some easy start or something, and we'll see if we can get it up and running, see if we can get it started, because it always did used to start in the past. The problem was it was never a particularly reliable start. If it had been, to be honest, I would have had it MOT'd and on the road years ago. You know, I worked out yesterday, if you saw the video, I worked out yesterday that I've actually owned that car for nearly 13 years. It was August 2012 I bought that car. I've had it nearly 13 years and I've not had it on the road yet. I've not got the work done. I've not got it MOT. I've not got it on the road in 13 years. This is why I just think to myself, some of these cars that I've got, I just need to get them sold, because 13 years, that's a bit of a mickey take, isn't it? To have a car that long and for it to not be on the road and MOT'd. But, like I'm saying, the reason it's taken me so long is because it's always been unreliable with it starting. If it had started up first turn of the key like Sylvia always used to do, and like Owen always does, touch wood, then I would have sorted it ages ago. But that's what's always just slowed me down. So I'm making excuses now. I am making excuses. So let's crack on. I'll get that fuel pipe back on. I'll get some fuel in it and we'll see if we can go for a start. That's the plan for today. So let's get on with it. Hi there, guys. You joined me almost 2 hours later after I did the video earlier. So yeah, so basically what I've been doing for the last nearly 2 hours is doing a lot of tidying, a lot of sorting out in my garage, because the boot of Brad, there is Brad, was full of stuff. It was, honestly, it was piled right up here. It was full of stuff and it was piled right up. So I've been doing a load of sorting out. I've thrown away a heap load of crap into my bin. Bin's being collected tomorrow, so I've just been taking the opportunity to throw away as much crap as I could. I've reorganised some of the crap that I'm keeping. Other stuff I've just thrown away. So the bit that I'm going to be doing next is actually refitting the back lights. You see, at one point I was going to fit a full caliber kit to Brad. I actually had the caliber kit before I had the car, believe it or not, because I helped strip a caliber which were completely rotten. It had no boot floor, no rear end of the boot floor. It was just knackered. It was beyond all reasonable repair. And I helped strip it, and I had the caliber kit, and I wanted to at one point fit the caliber kit to Sylvia, my GLSI, the silver saloon, which got rear-ended. But then I decided, no, she's too nice, she's too original, I don't want to start fitting the body kit to Sylvia. So I thought to myself, right, I might get a convertible. And then this one popped up for sale in Bradford. I live in Sheffield. Bradford's not that far away. Only about 50 miles or so to where the car was. Did a deal with the guy. He'd spent a fortune on it, on new parts, new suspension, springs, shocks, drop links, new fuel lines, I'm sure the fuel tank's new. I know certainly the fuel
Fuel pump's new, fuel filter. I do seem to think the tank was new as well, but he did all new fuel lines, all new brake pipes. You know, he'd done absolutely loads on it. But the guy had an old Austin. Sure, it were an Austin or a Morris, and I think it were an Austin from 1950s. And he decided he wanted to concentrate on getting that done because that was parked outside. And Brad, as I called him, was in his garage. So rather than his old 1950s car being sat outside in the rain and under a tarpaulin and whatever else, he decided to sell Brad. Put him up for sale. I spotted him, went along, bought him, had him loaded on a transporter, delivered to Sheffield where I live. And that was the plan. He was going to get the caliber kit, he was going to get big wheels, he was going to get, you know, loads of modifications, and it was going to be, you know, my project. But that was back in 2012, August 2012, and we're now 2025, and he's still sat here. The only thing I did do was fit the roof, because the roof wasn't attached when I bought him. He had no roof at all, and he came with the roof, it just needed fitting. And then he's just ended up being a bit of a parts car. So I've had a few bits off him for Sylvia. When I still had her, I had the exhaust off it because it had a brand spanking new exhaust. So I had the back box off first for Sylv when a back box went. Then when a centre box went, I had the centre section off. So he's currently got no exhaust. The reason the back lights are off is because when I was going to fit the caliber kit, I was going to make it look like a caliber. So I'd got the rear lights off the caliber. So the late spec with the silver chrome strip that goes through the middle, although the silver chrome strip had rubbed off and it were all black. But so yeah, that's the reason that the rear panel, the back lights, are all off and they're there in the boot. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to refit them. I'm going to put them back on. So then at least when my mate comes to have a look at the car with his brother on Thursday, at least he can see it all screwed back together and, you know. But I've been looking around it and it really is a nice solid example. You know, it's one of the reasons why I bought it. It's obviously had a bit of fiberglass or something in this corner. You can see a little bit of filler in that corner, but I'll do a proper look around it a bit later on. But yeah, so where I was intending to fit the fuel pipe, that's this piece here sat on the roof. That was the plan. I am still going to do that, but I'm just going to get these backlights on first because it's bugging me seeing them just sat there in the boot and one's there on the other seat. Yeah, it's got no seats in it currently because it came with the Calibra leather seats, and then I sold the leather seats. I was going to fit these original fabric ones, or I was going to get some alternative leather ones. I did have some alternative leather ones. All right, I'm telling a little fib. The little fib is the alternative leather ones are currently in the car, but if I do sell it, I'm not selling it with the leather seats that are in because I'm keeping them for something else. But it's going to have the original seats back in. Part of the original back seat is in there, and then yeah, I'm going to get that swapped back over. So when my mate comes and sees it on Thursday, sees it as the way that it's going to be sold. Wheel wise, I don't know what I'm going to do with wheels because at the moment it's got a right mismatch set of wheels on it, because again I was going to put some big like 17-inch alloys, maybe even 18s I did think about. So at the moment it's got a mismatched set of wheels. It's not got the wheels on which are going to be on when I sell it. I don't know what wheels to put on it, to be fair. I might not even sell it at this stage. They might come and see it and decide that it's not for them. If that's the case, if they decide it's not for them, then I'll carry on doing what I was going to do and get it back on road. But I thought I'd put the option out there and see if it sells. So anyway, I'm going to crack on, guys, so I'll see you again in a bit. Right, guys, you join me another hour later and I've done a lot more tidying, and I got to the stage where the back lights are back on the car and the rear panel. So it's a C-Reg C406DYW, the original reg. The actual rear plate is from Hamilton Motors, a Vauxhall dealer. Looks like it's possibly the original dealer plate from where the car originally came, or at least it was a dealer that it was at some point in its life. But yeah, just showing inside the boot, it's really, really good and solid, this car. It has got a couple of little issues. There's a little hole in the floor there, little hole in the floor there, which are very, very common spots. Same at this side, just here you can see it. Oops, some more bits down in there that I missed. Yeah, bit of rust down in these rear pockets. Again, they're very, very common. So I think a lot of that's actually surface. I know, probably would need chopping out and welding. They have got the strut top area, like went on Owen, at both sides. I thought it was only at one side, but it is actually at both, and it's a little bit worse. In fact, it's quite a lot worse at this side. So that will need a bit of work. A little bit in the floor as well. Yes, there is a speaker, a stereo speaker on the floor underneath the car, if you're wondering what on earth that is. It's actually not the speaker itself, it's just the box that they came in, but it's it looks like it's the actual speaker. So yeah, it will need a bit of welding, but while I'm in the boot, I wanted to just point out, you know, one of the ways in which the convertible is made so good compared to some other convertibles. Obviously it's a 4-seater convertible, and the roof folds down into that box. But look how massive the boot is. So even though it's a 4-seater convertible, the boot is not compromised. You know, very, very little. The only bit of compromising is that box there. Because on the normal saloon, the boot is like up there somewhere. So you've lost maybe 5, 6 inches of depth on that rear section of the boot. But look how massive the boot is. It's huge. It's huge. It's one of the things that makes these such a practical convertible. But I'll show you as well the extra strength. So there's an extra box section bit in both corners over there, both sides, that's not there on the saloon. You've also got this ear section, like triangular section, this big bar that goes across like a big strut brace between the both rear struts. Then you've obviously got the box itself that the convertible roof folds down into. So you've got all that extra strengthening. So even though they've chopped the roof off, they did do a heck of a lot to make these cars strong. All that extra, all that extra box section, and a heck of a lot of extra strengthening that they did. I'll show you some more in a bit on the inside of the car. So I'm just going to put the boot carpet back in, and I'm just sorting through all the spares that came with it. There's bags of screws and bolts, and there's all sorts of stuff. An old stereo. The missing side trim is not missing, it's there. Other bits of boot carpet. There's all sorts of stuff. There's remnants of the old tow bar. We did have a tow bar on this. That's what them other 2 holes are in the floor. That hole there, them two did have a tow bar. There is some remnants of the old electrics as well for the tow bar. So I've still got the old tow bar as well. It's down there on the floor. There we go. So if anybody wants a Mark II Cavalier tow bar, I've got one. So there we go, guys. Right, I'll see you again shortly. Hi guys, welcome back, and I'm actually on the following day now. So yeah, I ended up spending loads of time yesterday doing a lot of cleaning and tidying in my garage. Not that you'd think it, looking at it, it still looks a mess. But I've just been doing a tip run this morning. I've taken a car full of crap to the garage, to the local tip, not just out of the garage, but out of the house as well. Because at the moment, the room that should be my dining room is currently a little bit of a extension of my garage, shall I say. So I've just taken an Owen full of rubbish, including an old mattress and bags of crap, and the old suspension off the Astra, and the old headlights off the Astra, and various other bits. But I'm just in the process of putting the original interior back in to Brad, my convertible. As you can see, I've got the top down. First time the top down's been down in a while. And I've just taken the leather interior out because I had no intention of selling it with the leather interior. I am going to keep it because there is a chance I might buy another Mark 2 convertible in the future. There is a chance I might do. I might decide to buy another one that doesn't need restoring like this one does. But while I'm in this situation with no seats, I wanted to show you all the extra strengthening that goes into these. I've already showed you in the boot, but I want to show you, look at the thickness of these sills. Now, anybody who knows Mark II Cavaliers knows that's not like that in a normal Cavalier. In a normal Cavalier, that there just drops straight down inside. This being a convertible, the pull switch for the bonnet is in a different location. It's lower down and further back. There's that big bar that goes the full width of the car underneath the dashboard, behind the centre console and right across. All the extra thickness in the sills. Even this bit, I think, is bigger than it is on the normal car. I'd have to just double check. I'm not 100% sure on that. But then also in the back, you've got all this extra solid as a rock box section that's all welded in down the sides. I mean, you can actually see the welds, the spot welds. I mean, that is some pretty solid girders that's welded in there for the extra strength. You've then got, like I said, that big piece there that goes across, which the normal saloon doesn't have one like that. It's a different design on the normal saloon, and of course these are converted from two-door saloons. So yeah, but one thing I wanted to show you as well is, because I was undoing these bolts to get the seats out, this one, it was being really difficult. It was just being a right pain, and I was trying to do it by hand, and then I thought to myself, why am I doing it by hand? Why on earth am I doing it by hand? I've just bought this impact wrench, so I thought I'm gonna use it. So here we go, guys. So this is my Promex. I don't know if the T's pronounceable or if it's just pronounced Promex, I don't know, or Protmex. I'm presuming it's Promex, but it's absolutely awesome. Honestly, I was really struggling doing it the old-fashioned way by hand, and then I thought to myself, why don't I get my impact driver? Why don't I make use of it? And you know what? It were bzzzt, 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 bzzzt. You get the idea. Got all 8 bolts out within seconds, literally within seconds. This little beast will save me absolutely hours and hours of time struggling with old rusty bolts. I would say to anybody, you know, if you've got a spare bit of cash and you do a lot of work on your cars, you don't have to be this particular make and model, but this is an Amazon bestseller. This is the #1 bestseller on Amazon, and it's recommended by a lot of people. It's got a lot of really positive reviews and everything. So yeah, why not? Treat yourself. You know, I'm so glad I treated myself. I'd still be undoing the bolts now. I'd still be undoing them now, honestly. They were that stiff. Then I'm going to try it in reverse, obviously putting the bolts back in and seeing how good it is at putting them back in. I'll probably get them started by hand first, just so that I don't cross thread the threads. But yeah, absolutely awesome. So I'm just going to show you under the dash a little bit better. Right then, guys, so yeah, just with the light on so I can show you a bit better. So you've got that big cross beam that goes through the centre console all the way across the full width of the car, and it's like this big brace that goes between the 2 door pillars. The actual door pillar itself, like I said, that's all reinforced. If I pulled that carpet down, you'd see it all reinforced behind. The carpet's different in the convertible to the regular cabs. And as I said, the pull switch for the bonnet is normally up there, up behind the dashboard. But obviously, because they've put this extra beam across, it had to be relocated to where it's been relocated. So yeah, there you go. That is just an illustration of some of the extra strengthening that these convertibles have. Looks a little bit rusty in here, but it's not. That's just actually surface grime and crap. But also, looking through this hole as well, where the speaker should be, you can see another cross beam that's like another strength strength piece, and that's where the roof actually bolts to. You can see through the gap there where the roof actually bolts to this big strong girder piece that's welded to the inner arch. There's also the strut there that goes down to the bottom. You can see actually down there that's reinforced as well, where the strut goes. The normal Cavaliers don't have that. But yeah, that's where the roof is actually attached. I'll show you around this side, looking through. So we've got all these bits, not actually all properly fastened in, but all these bits are unique to the convertible. You can also see where they modified the doors. See, originally these doors were two-door two-door saloon doors, and you can see where they actually physically cut off the top of the door and then put these little covers on. This one's actually missing. And they did the same with the actual door frames themselves. In fact, the two-door wouldn't have had these because it doesn't have quarter lights on the two-door Ascona or Cavalier. But then there's, like I say, all these rubbers and things are custom for the convertible. Loads of custom pieces. And then you look up in the roof section and you've got all this, which is obviously unique to the convertible. That's the latching section where the roof latches down onto it. So all that's all custom made for the convertible. All totally different to the normal car, obviously. So yeah, there we go, guys. So I just wanted to show you what's what. While I've got the light on as well, I'll just show you underneath, because I mentioned about it having a brand new fuel pump and fuel filter and everything. There we go, brand new fuel pump, brand new fuel filter. The guy who I bought it off did do a lot of work under here. Starting to get little bits of surface rust coming through, but he painted the entire underneath of the car black, and it's just starting to go a little bit crusty again in places. But it was 13 years ago that he did it. Like I said, I've had the car 13 years and I've never got any further to completing it, which is why I've decided, you know what, let's just call it a day and get it sold to one of my mates' brothers, who's actually really excited about getting it and hopefully going to restore it and get it on road. It's what it deserves. And then once this has gone out of the garage, whether he buys it or somebody else buys it, either way I'm putting it up for sale, then the Mark III Cavalier can come in here out of the elements, out of the rain, and then I can try and get some work done on it over the winter potentially, and potentially get some work done on the Nova as well, the GSI Nova, which is just sat there. But yeah, there we go, guys. So next thing I'm going to do is, like I said, is I'm going to try and get this fuel filler neck on, and then we'll go for trying to give him a start once I've got that on and got some fuel in, see if he'll start. Right, guys, I'm just getting the original seats ready to put back in the convertible Brad. But I thought I'd give him a bit of a clean first, because these have just been sat in the corner of my garage, at the side of my garage, absolutely filthy. Honestly, they're absolutely minging. I'll post some pictures of what they were like, but I'll just show you. I'm just cleaning the back of this one, and I've purposely left it half and half. Yeah, that gives you an idea of how mucky they were. Look at the state of that. I mean, the seats aren't perfect. You know, there's a little bit of wear up on the top, a little bit of wear down there, which you always get, a bit of wear in the bottom. But I say I've just given him a little bit of a shampoo on the worst areas, and they're coming up really, really good, to be fair. You know, considering that they've been sat in my garage for 13 odd years. I mean, you can see that one I've already given a wipe. I've only given it a quick wipe with some water. But yeah, look at that side. Before and after. Gives you an idea of just how filthy they were. Not nice, not good. Just absolutely minging. But I'm going to get them in the car, and yeah, see you in a bit. Right then, guys. So I've given Brad a little bit of a wipe over with a damp cloth. Got rid of a lot of the dust. The bumper, well, definitely needs some back to black on it. But I've got the interior in. Here we go. So he's now got his original seats. And it's looking good. Looking really nice. I said the seats are not perfect. There's that wear on the top. That's from where the seat belt rubs. Wear on the bolster, which you always get. There's some wear on the bottom there. But bear in mind, he's done 142,000 miles. It says 42,046 on the dash. So it's a decent bit of mileage. So in, you know, overall condition's pretty good when you think about the mileage. Now the interior, you'll notice the door panels are black across the bottom and the top and around the edges, and the armrests are black, and the rear panels are black. Well, they're not meant to be. They're meant to be grey. But previous owner, I believe he did it because he fitted the black leather Caliber interior, and I think he painted that black to match the black leather. But the problem was the black leather in a Caliber is not actually black. It's actually just a dark grey. So it was always too dark. But I think it actually looks okay with the original seats back in, because at least the fabric on the door now matches the fabric of the seats, whereas obviously when it had the leather it didn't match at all. It just looked out of place. So now I think it's actually looking really good. The problem is, now it is looking really good, I'm in that situation again where I'm like, do I really want to sell it? Do I? Well, next job is going to be doing what I said I was going to do right at the beginning of this video, which is to get the fuel pipe fitted so I can get some fuel into the tank, and then I can see if I can get it started. Wish me luck. Hi guys, right, so you joined me back. I'm finally getting on with reinstalling the pipe, the fuel pipe that goes to the tank. So there is the tank, which I did mention previously. I seem to remember the tank was a brand new tank, and looking at it, I think it might be, because it certainly looks very, very, very nice. I said the guy I bought it off, he did do a lot of work on this car, and as you can see, it's got all new copper brake pipes, brake ferrules, fuel lines as well. The fuel lines are copper. That's the big one there, copper fuel pipe. The fuel pump and the filter, all new stuff. And as I say, painted it all black underneath. It's just 13 years on, it started to just come through a little bit of rust in places, but it is, you know, like I say, he did a hell of a lot of work to this car. So yeah, so this is the filler pipe, which you might remember from a previous video. So that's the actual filler nozzle that goes up to the side of the car. That end goes to that big pipe there. I do need a new clip, because I totally forgot that this one snapped when I was getting it off the car. Luckily, I do think I have got some of these big ones of these, so I should be all right. So, but one thing I had forgotten about is there's another little pipe runs from there, if I zoom in on it, and that runs to this pipe, and I don't think I've got any pipe. I don't think I've got any. I can't remember. I think the pipe that came off was brittle and broke to bits. Even though it's, you know, done a lot of replacing of pipes, that one from memory was a little bit knackered. So I'm gonna have to try and source a new bit of pipe. It's only like a breather. It's not essential, but obviously it is something that's going to need doing. So right, let's get this fitted. Right then guys, so I've got the pipe on. The only thing I can't remember is exactly which pipe that is supposed to go up here, because there's actually two. There's supposed to be two small ones. I can't remember if that's to that, and then that's where the big one goes on, which is like the big main breather. But for the purposes of this, it's not really going to matter. I'm going to get some fuel in. I did have one of those big hose clips, which is there attached, but like I said, I ain't got any pipe to be able to do that breather, so it's just gonna have to breathe out as it is for now, which will be fine for the purposes of this attempting to start it. But one thing I wanted to show you while I'm under here, see, these are the things as well. Like, I had brand new shock absorbers, brand new springs. Even though they are quite tall, they do make it sit a bit like a Land Rover. They are brand new. But the chassis rails and stuff, as I said, they have got some surface rust coming back through, but they are solid as a rock. And this wheel arch at this side is an original arch. And look at that for an original arch. You know, there might be a bit of corrosion hidden underneath some of the underseal under there, but, you know, for an original arch, original inner sill as well. I mean, that bit is usually always completely gone, all that section, but it's absolutely solid as a rock on this. Spring seat looks good. I think it has had some welding on the chassis rail at the other side, but that's the worst bit, this upper strut top mount. You can see how it's gone through in hole there, possibly going there a little bit as well, and there. So that's the worst bit that is going to need some work. I'd show you the other side, but I don't think I can get to see. Let me have a little look. Oh yeah, there's the pipe. Let's have a little walk around. Oh, there's the Nova again. Hello, Nova. Yeah, look, I've just tripping up all this stuff for a spare front wing there. Tyres, alloys. Oh yeah, I'll be able to get around this side, no problem. I've got one of my Ronald turbos on this side. I've got two sets of Ronald turbos. Ah yeah, here we go. So you can see the new shock. Yeah, I think this chassis leg has had some work done on it before in the past. Further underneath, I think, from memory. Maybe not. I'm sure it had done, but I don't know, it don't look it though. But even at this side, still got the original inner sill. It has had a new arch at this side. You can tell it's had a new arch because it's fatter. Plus you can see where it's been welded at the bottom there, and that's why this side hasn't got the side trim, because it's had the new arch fitted. But it has had a good job though. Well, apart from that bit there where there's a little bit of an underlap, that's a little bit of a telltale sign. It's not had a particularly good job on that bit. That needs a bit of fillering across and blending to make it better, but it has got a bit of fiberglass up on the inner arch where they've filled it a little bit. But yeah, you can see that arch is so much fatter than it should be because it's an aftermarket, non-genuine arch. But yeah, that's again where the strut top needs a bit of work. It's a common thing on certain ages of these. As I say, Orwin was shocking. No pun intended. Right, so next job, get some fuel in and we'll try and see if it'll start. Right then guys, we're getting close to doing an engine start up. I just wanted to show you the engine bay. It's always been a lovely clean bay, this one. So much potential for detailing and making it look lovely. It's a shame I'm selling it. Well, we'll see what happens tomorrow. So I'm going to get some fuel in. I've got the battery on, and then we'll go for a start up. Right then guys, the moment of truth. So I've put 1 can of fuel in. It might not be enough because I'm not sure how empty the tank was. One thing, it is nice sat in these seats. These seats have never been in this car in all the time I've owned it. So let's give it a go, see if we get any life at all. I noticed that the fuel gauge has not even moved a slight bit, so I might have to put the second can in. Oh, that's a weird little thing it keeps doing. When it's every time you turn ignition off, the wipers randomly go. And every time you turn it on, the wipers. wipers go. Shut up, wipers. Right. Sorry, I can't stop laughing. It's just so funny how the wipers are just randomly going like that. I might have to just disconnect them so they don't keep doing it. I don't know what it is that's doing it. I don't know if it's a sticky windscreen wiper relay or what it is. But I'm just going to go and check one of the spark plugs and see if there's any fuel at the plug. Right, guys, we're going to have another attempt. So this time I've noticed that the plugs were pretty black. So I've given them a good wire brush, a good clean up. I also noticed that the timing mark seemed to be out on the distributor, so I've moved it slightly and see if it makes any difference. If it doesn't, then I'll move it back to where it was, but let's give it a go. Yeah, see, absolutely no signs of it wanting to fire, is there? Problem is now battery's starting to lose its power as well. I'll move ignition timing back where it was and try it again. So this is what I was meaning, guys. You see here on the distributor there's this line that's been cut in and there's another line lined up with it, but before it was where this mark is. I've made that mark especially so I know I can move it back to that position. So I'm going to move it back to that position and then see if it makes any difference. Now it could be something to do with this old Piranha alarm system, because it could be that that has cut out the ignition system. So I need to check if I've got a spark, obviously. So that's going to be another thing to check. Right, guys, this is going to be the last attempt for this video, and then I'm going to wait until my mate Tony's here tomorrow. Ooh. Ooh, that nearly fired then. Damn it, I thought it were gonna do. It definitely did one little attempt, didn't it? Oh, it definitely did one little attempt. Oh, now my battery's nearly flat. Damn it. Oh, damn it, guys. Oh, so close, so close. It definitely spat like it were ready to start then, didn't it? Oh, it's exciting. Right, catch us in the next one, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Like, browse, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. See what happens. Laters.